couple of weeks ago, I made my final pilgrimage of the season to Jasmine Garden Center. As I drove out with my new dwarf Alberta spruce, I turned on the radio and I heard the CBC announcer introduce Appalachian Spring by Aaron Copland. Funny, I thought, fall at the garden center, spring on the radio. And then the music overwhelmed me. I'd heard Appalachian Spring many times before, but never like this. I was actually hearing it. It's not the performance that was different, it was me. The veil that usually stood between me and music had dropped. I was no longer thinking about something else at the same time. I wasn't distracted by my other plans for the day. I wasn't worrying about how I should be hearing the music. I wasn't wondering whether I should like the music, or whether I should know what those instruments were, or whether I was hearing the music correctly. I was simply open to the music. And the experience was astonishing. When the music was startling, I was startled. My attention was undivided, no thoughts except the occasional, oh my God. And these bursts of undefended openness weren't limited to music. Waiting to get my hearing aids cleaned, I found myself laughing out loud at the silent Charlie Chaplin films now that I paid full attention. Maybe these bursts of undefended openness are connected to my spiritual practice, I hope. I knew a lot about spiritual practices from my first husband, Jack Rains. Jack was a psychologist, a teacher, and a spiritual seeker. He pursued Zen Buddhism, revisited the Catholicism of his youth, and for a time became a follower of Indian guru Rajneesh, now known as Osho. The courses he taught at Dawson College included one on the psychology of religion. I knew about Gurdjieff, Krishnamurti, Simone Weil, Lao Tzu, many, many others. But when it came to actual spiritual practicing, I remained an interested observer, a fellow traveler, with knowledge but a non-participant, a skeptical sociologist, raised tolerant Unitarian. After Jack died in 1993, I returned to the religion of my youth by joining the Unitarian Church of Montreal. It has taken some time, but now I'm interested in spiritual growth. As my first intentional spiritual practice, I am trying to observe my thoughts and feelings without judgment or resistance. Can I observe my anger, for example? I'm not fond of being angry. Without justifying it, but also without resisting it. Without trying not to be angry, not making it bad to be angry, simply observing and acknowledging what comes up, whatever comes up, paying attention. My thoughts and feelings often have to do with people. Could I be awake to people in the same way I was awake to an Appalachian Spring? What would that look like? I thought about Jack. He paid attention to people in ways I did not. Once in 1990, we were watching TV coverage of the Monaco funeral for Princess Caroline's husband. She looked so sad, Jack said. That startled me. You mean people on TV are real? I often related to people in an impersonal, business-like way if I noticed them at all, and expected the same in return. I could go to the bank for years not expecting to be noticed and noticing no one really myself. Jack was raised in small-town Oklahoma, where everyone you meet is someone you know or knows someone you know. I just took a trip to Paris and had to remind myself that in Paris, one is apparently supposed to greet shopkeepers upon entering. This would have come naturally to Jack and his Oklahoma brother. What would it take not just to actually see people, but to see each person accurately and without judgment, that was Jack's special gift, one of the things I envied and miss. Once when I was fretting about a friend's constant troubles at work, Jack observed, "She complains a lot." It was a description, not a judgment. That's just what she did. Not who she was, just what she did. I find it difficult to see who people are, to separate who they are from who I am in interacting with them. But I'm trying. Someone once said, "People tell you who they are, believe them." I'm listening. I'm trying to pay attention, and it is making a difference. But that's a story for another day.